very good morning to all our viewers. You've tuned in live to this broadcast on Moneycontrol. You're watching Newspresso with me, Stacey Pereira. And as the drill goes, in the next few minutes, we're going to be giving you a lowdown of all the action from across the globe. Earnings heavy it is, and that's what we're going to be telling you about all those corporate earnings that are coming in. Also, the latest trends to keep you informed and give you the edge above the others. So stay with us for the next few minutes because we are getting you firstly what we're getting from our global dispatch. Well, another day of gains, one could say, on Wall Street, where the Dow Jones has climbed more than 109 points or a 0.3% higher in what was the index highest consecutive gain in the green, one could say, the longest winning streak since September 2019. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 has gained about 0.2%, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq, that one has ticked up by 0.03%. Although the futures linked to these indices right now are turning to the negative. Now, Netflix, that one came out with its earnings, which dragged the Nasdaq futures lower. Post those numbers, you also had Netflix shares, which have dropped about 7% in the futures trading. This is after its second consecutive numbers were slightly below estimates. Now, we also get you more on all of those earnings front in just a bit. But let's also look at UK, where the inflation number has come in and that has cooled off significantly for the month of June, coming in below that consensus expectation of 7.9% annually. Now, this came as a pleasant surprise as analysts were pegging this number to come at 8.2%, which was followed by May's hotter than expected 8.7% reading. However, the annualized price rise continues to run well above the Bank of England's 2% target. Now, falling prices of motor fuel is the one that made the largest downward contribution to the CPI print. Core inflation, though, which excludes volatile energy, food and alcohol as well as tobacco prices, that one still remains sticky at an annualized rate of 6.9%, but fell from that 31-year high of 7.1%, which was reported in May. And we're looking at the European markets then, that one definitely reacting to those inflation data that came in. The stocks did close higher on Wednesday after that, after investors really digesting that number. Now, the Pan-European Stock 600 index has closed about 0.3% higher. It was the oil and gas stocks which were up 1.1%, whereas the FTSE 100 was up 1.8%. Now, the British pound, that one too, falling against the US dollar as well as the euro, even as UK bond yields, those ones fell quite sharply. All major averages, though, barring the German DAX, were the one that closed in the positive. And investors have been keeping their eye on a slew of economic data that is due to be released in the Asia-Pacific region as well. Most Asian indices are trading right now quite cautiously, where China is likely to cut its 1- and 5-year loan prime rates. That is what the expectation is in an attempt to spur growth in the region. We are seeing the Shanghai index, that one trading in the positive right now on those hopes. Whereas if you look at Japan, the Nikkei 225 has opened lower, even though Japan posted a surprise trade surplus of 43 billion yen. Now, South Korea, meanwhile, that one is also trading lower, about half a percentage point down. But Australia, the S&P ASX 200, that one is bucking the trend and has risen about half a percentage point. This ahead of its unemployment figure for June. If you look at the GIFT Nifty, that one is indicating a positive start for the Indian markets. And let's get you up to speed with those corporate earnings that we were talking about earlier. Well, Goldman Sachs was the first one to report its earnings yesterday, where profits dropped about 60% in Q2, missing those estimates as the bank has now retreated from that consumer businesses as well as declining its stake in real estate investments, which has really weighed on its earnings. Now, Goldman Sachs also took a $1.4 billion write-down this quarter, mostly tied to that Green Sky fintech business, which really facilitates home improvement loans as well as consumer and real estate investments. It also took a credit losses related to the consumer loan business in this quarter. The stock, however, has risen about 1% in trade. The other earnings was that of Elon Musk-led Tesla. The EV maker has posted an all-time high quarterly revenue. By operating margins too have also dropped by 9.6%. This due to the price cuts as well as incentives that were given out this quarter. The stock in the futures segment is trading lower. And the other one is Netflix, which you can be looking out for. That one to announce its Q2 earnings, wherein it added 5.9 million subscribers in this quarter. This could be attributed to that crackdown on password sharing, as well as launching cheaper subscription models in the US and Canada. Let's get a quick recap then on what went down on the Wall Street yesterday. We did see the Sensex gaining over 300 odd points to cross that 67,000 mark, whereas the Nifty too gaining 80 odd points, inching closer towards that 20,000 levels we can see, but comfortably closer to that 19,800. That's where it closed up. We saw bank stocks which saw healthy gains, and the index also closing about 250 points higher, whereas the mid cap, that one managed to outperform the blue chips, ending with gains of nearly 1% point. If you look at the BSE companies, those ones gained with a market cap now of 1.6 lakh crore rupees in yesterday's session. And the National Stock Exchange will conduct a special pre-opening session of shares of Reliance Industries today. This is for the price discovery of its demerged entity, which will be called Jio Financial Services. Now, shareholders of Reliance will get one share of the demerged entity for every one share they hold with them in the conglomerate. Now, NSE will temporarily add Jio Financial in 19 different indices. This means that the normal trading for RIL shares today will take place only post 10 a.m. And among the big corporate earnings that you need to be watching out for today, we do have tech giant Infosys, which will declare its Q1 numbers, wherein it is likely to see a net profit growth of 14%. And you'll also have to look forward to that forward guidance that they give, the projections as well as the project pipelines in the commentary from the management. That is all to be looking forward to. You also have FMCG in the FMCG space, HUL, which is likely to see a robust volume growth, which could be aiding that bottom line number that you need to be looking out for. So keep coming back to the Moneycontrol website as well as the app for all of those updates through the day. We'll be getting you all of these earning updates. And Tata Sons has planned to build a new EV battery plant in the United Kingdom's Somerset. The automaker has announced that an investment of $5.2 billion, which roughly converts to 4 billion sterling pounds, and the Jaguar Land Rover, which is owned by Tata's, will be the anchor customer of this gigafactory, which will be Europe's largest so far, the production of which is assumed to be starting by 2026. Remember, this comes close on the heels of Tata's other investment, where they've promised a $1.6 billion MOU with the Gujarat government for setting up a similar plant in the state. With this deal, the Indian conglomerate has a fair chance to emerge as a major player in the global electric supply chain. And to all the latest trends that we need to be giving you, we'll also tell you about the weather that has taken quite a turn and toll, we could say. Well, in the latest that we're getting from the weather updates, floods in Assam have worsened and more than 1 lakh people are now affected. Now, the continuous rainfall has led to increase in water levels of several rivers, including the Brahmaputra. Now, flood warnings were issued in Assam on July 14th as Bhutan has started releasing water from its reservoirs. The SDRF as well as NDRF teams have been put on high alert. More than 4,000 people have taken shelter in the 93 relief camps across the 11 districts of Assam. Now, the flood waters have even entered the Kaziranga National Park in what you're getting at the latest. And the trends that you need to be up with, well, Meta now has released a new version of its open source artificial intelligence model. This is going to be called LLAMA2. Now, in a blog post, Meta CEO Zuckerberg said that the company is partnering with Microsoft to introduce this next generation of its AI large language model and making the technology free for research as well as commercial use. Now, the Instagram picture shows the two Silicon Valley heavyweights, both dressed in blue and smiling away when they came out to declare this partnership. Now, meanwhile, you also have Microsoft that has announced a new artificial intelligence subscription model, which could be worth $30 per month. And by taking this model, you will be allowed to use generative AI tools in Microsoft's products such as Word, Excel, Teams, and others. the gem capital of the world will soon be home to the world's largest office space. Yes, I'm talking to you about the Surat Diamond Bros. Now, this newly constructed building will be inaugurated in November this year by Prime Minister Modi. Now, the building has 9 rectangular towers with 15 floors each and has been designed by Morph Genesis. This building will also break the record of Pentagon to be the largest office building in the world. Now, the building will be a one-stop destination for diamond professionals, which includes cutters, polishers, as well as the traders. The project took about 4 years to complete, including 2 years of the pandemic. Now, landscaping of this building is based on the Pancha Tattva practice. It is designed to consume less than 50% less energy. Now, due to which this has been qualified as a platinum rating building as well from the Indian Green Building Council. And how many hours does one spend in the office? Well, it could be a subjective matter, and the regular 8-9 hours that you would spend, or some might even want to spend 12 or more. Now, well, let's say some of us just get lost in that hustle of this work culture, but you can believe, we wouldn't want to believe this, that a Google employee who earns about a 6-figure salary just spends 2 hours working in office. Yes, like you and me, even the Twitter CEO Elon Musk was quite surprised and had a wow moment when he realized this. Now, Twitter users shared that during dinner with 2 employees, they fought about who works for the lesser number of hours, and the employees with the 2 hours a day was the one that won a 500,000 with a 500,000 salary is the one who actually went ahead and won. Now, Twitter actually stands divided, one could say, with quick responses that came up and have been mixed reactions. Well, we would like to know from our viewers what they think would be the ideal time one would want to spend in office, and how much is too much, or whether less is more when it comes to your number of working hours. And let's tell you what you need to be watching out for through the day. Well, the monsoon session of the Parliament will begin today. We do have opposition party leaders which are likely to rake up the Manipur situation, the restless protests, all of those which will likely be taken up. But when it comes to the working of the Parliament, 31 bills are likely to be tabled, including 21 new legislations. So we'll have to see how that comes out through this Parliament session, but that one taking off today. When from the startup space, let me tell you that a quick commerce player Dunzo will undertake another round of layoffs. Now, the size of this will be decided within this week, but this, remember, is the 3rd round of layoffs within the last 7 months. Already 380 employees have been let go since these last 7 months. And we also have to look forward to Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who arrives in India today. He will be meeting the External Affairs Minister Jaishankar later today and also hold talks with Prime Minister Modi as well as President Murmu on Friday. So all of that is what you're going to be looking forward to through the day and through the week. We have a whole host of earnings that you need to be looking forward to. Infosys and HUL is something that we are going to be giving you timely updates on. So do come back to Moneycontrol as well as the app for all of those updates. But from us, it's a wrap on this edition of Newspresso. From everyone putting the show together, thanks so much for tuning in.